Hi there, I am Julie Ford with Julz of Life, and if you're new to me or new to Julz of Life, you may or may not have seen that I created a course called Career Journeys. And although it didn't launch this spring because the kids were already massively inundated with digital learning and we weren't even sure whether they would be able to work or not this summer, we delayed the launch. It is still available though, so if you want it after you hear these tips about accomplishment statements, you may want to contact me and we can make that happen. So I want to jump right in and talk about accomplishment discussions. As my kids are lucky enough to have summer jobs, and you may have seen the post about them walking in with their resumes ready to go, and they were hired on the spot to the first place they walked in. I help kids create their resumes, not just kids. I helped over 350 adults revamp their resumes, create them from new, some of them, during the '08 recession. I was working with Right Management, great company, helping people, talking them off the ledge after they had just been reduced in force and helping them decide what's next and gleaning from them what they had accomplished that may or may not have existed on their resume. So how do you make it not so painful to actually get that information back out years later or months later for some, and keep a record of what was it that I did that was spectacular, that I want to highlight either in an interview or on my resume. And as we have these discussions with our kids, it's been fascinating to see just how how was your day today? What did you do at work? How was work? How those discussions can actually lead to some great fodder for the accomplishment building, the accomplishment statement inventory that you can keep in any type of form. It can be voice memos on your phone. It can be a notes page on your phone. It can be a little notebook that you keep where you write down things that happened. And there's kind of a little formula to doing that. And so I wanted to share that with you today so that you can take it to the dinner table or to the couch discussion that happens when your kids get home from whatever job they have, or for yourself as well, because this is not limited to kids. It's just a concept that I'm teaching them in the Career Journeys course. So one of the things that you might want to ask them is, what was great about your day? What was fabulous? What made you feel good? And then just listen. Find out what was also not great about their day. What was challenging about it? What did they do about it? And then what happened? So those are great things. And it points to, what did they learn during that challenge? What did they learn when something went really well and they were praised for it? And you want to do, as my friend Jeannie said, write that down. You gotta write it down, because then you'll have something to look back on later. When you're creating your accomplishment statements, they'll be, oh, I remember that. So I made something happen. In Right Management, we called it the challenge action result, or CAR method, in coming up with our accomplishments. So it might just be, I cleaned tables. But how did you clean tables? I cleaned them before anybody asked me to. I respectfully cleaned up the table while the customers were still there to give them room to enjoy themselves. I took care of things for my server. My daughter's a busser. For my server before she had to bother with it, so we had higher tips because of it. And she shared those with me because I was a part of making those. So these are some great things that you can write down, and you can say, what was the challenge? Dirty table. What was the action? I cleaned it before anybody asked me to do it. And what was the result? We ended up with some rockin' tips, and those got shared with me, and people then were happy. They left. They recommended others to come back, and they themselves came back to the restaurant. So you want to look for those things and help your kids craft those statements and write them down. So what could have been on the resume, if they were going to be boring and blasé about it, is, I worked in a restaurant picking up after messy eaters. Okay, that's not very lovely or inspiring to the future employer. But how about this? Tipped out at an average of $24 an hour by making both the server and the customer ecstatic with their experiences. Wow, now that's going to hire some people. All right, so like I said, These tips are taken from the course called Career Journeys that I have. If you yourself or you have a student anywhere age 14 to 20 who is looking to amp up their job experience, get a new job, then contact me and we will talk about some career journeys. For now, I'm Julie Ford. Enjoy.